So what's up, everybody? I'm Ronald Jr. and today we're going to be doing an unboxing and first impressions and see if everything's all right. I ordered a guitar kit off of Bargain Musician, and I wanted to see how good their kits were compared to everybody else, and it kind of struck my interest, this particular guitar kit. So I went ahead and taped this up. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we got. Put fragile on there. I like how they did that, and a lot of companies do that. So comes with a wiring diagram, which is really nice that they do that for you, because a lot of people don't do this. You have to get on their website. Guitar kit assembly kit. So it's how to shape your headstock. So it's like a basic manual. So let's check out the neck first. Now I noticed that this says 270 and the body also says 270, which you'll see here in a moment. This thing was actually packaged really well. This neck was taped, and when he brought it, it doesn't sound like anything was moving, so it's actually pretty packed in there. Packed pretty well. Engineered rosewood. Wasn't expecting real rosewood. Same rosewood as my BYO kit. There is a little bit of fill there, it looks like, or glue. I'll show you how to correct that issue. I'll make this look like real rosewood, but the neck feels actually pretty good. It's going to need some sanding. There is a little knot here. This guitar is going to be one solid collar, so that's not going to matter. The frets look really, really good. Plastic nut, typical, that's coming off. The neck seems okay. So go ahead and lay this aside. We'll lay this down here for a moment. Here's the body, 270. Pick guards with the body. 3-piece body, as you can see. Now, if you can see that maple or something, or quilted maple figuring right there? I don't know if you can catch that in the camera, but that is awesome. I wish that whole guitar was that. I'll do a see-through finish. This body is pretty rough. It's going to need sanded. There's a piece glued right here, a piece glued right here, and a piece glued right here. So bolt on neck. I can fill that and make a set neck, but I really don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. A little bit of chewed up marks here in the routing, but everything else, this feels pretty solid. This has some weight to it. This is not light at all. So routing in the back seems pretty decent. Man, I wish that whole piece of wood was blended in a little bit better, but we'll do a solid finish. Let's see what's the hardware. It's going to be your typical Chinese hardware that I'm not going to be using. Got your back plate. a cable, your Allen wrench, which cable is getting thrown in the garbage. Your typical Chinese packaging. You got your bolts, nuts, mini pots, a capacitor. It's everything you need to build this guitar, but I'm not going to be using none of this. It has mini humbuckers, which I will be replacing these for sure. You got Chinese strings, neck plate, knobs. You have a cheap bridge in here, cheap tail piece, cheap wiring. I'm not going to be using that either. And then we get to our cheap tuners. I'm not going to be using those either. So yeah, everybody, when they do these videos, they always test fit the neck, and they brag about how tight it needs to be, but I'm not a big fan of that. As long as it goes in, looks like it goes in pretty well, nice and flush, no gaps. That's beautiful. Do have to drill the holes in the neck though. Like I said, I could make this a set neck if I wanted to, but I want to not do that. I want to keep it a bolt on. So here it is. It's gonna look pretty cool. I think it's gonna be awesome. Like I said, it's gonna need a lot of sanding work, grain filler, no fret ends. The frets seem like they've been crowned and polished, or leveled and crowned and polished. They look pretty good. Nuts coming off there for sure, like I said. Yeah, so here it is. That's my first impressions. You can keep up with this build. It's going to be fun. Always make sure you have all your parts and everything. I'm going to make sure everything lines up, everything fits, everything's there. Because if you paint these things and then try to send them back, say there's something wrong, you're not going to get anything. They're going to tell you tough luck. Basically what you want to do is, you can tell this is from China because check out this wrapping that was on these. This I'm going to be throwing away. I'm not going to be using it, but we've got to make sure this stuff's here. So we got our pickups, strings. Yes, we got to make sure these are here for right now. Neck plate, wiring, knobs. Got 4 of them. Bridge, tailpiece, all the bolts and stuff are in this bag. Switch, not going to be using that. Pots, everything's in this bag. Studs, everything's here. Tuners, back plate. So everything is here, okay? So what we have to do now is get this neck on and then put some dummy studs in here and make sure everything lines up. So we got our neck attached with 2 screws. You just make your potholes in the neck because they're not drilled yet. Fit in there pretty good actually. So next thing we need to do is get our bridge right here, our tailpiece. Not pound them in, but we need to make sure, because I have dummy studs and stuff, and make sure that everything lines up with the nut, okay? And make sure everything lines up before we do anything else. So as you can see, it's hard to get the camera angle where it doesn't look like it's all messed up, but to the measurements and everything, it lines up right with the nut. And that's why I told you to save those old Chinese strings, because it comes in handy. So just lay that to the side, and the next thing you want to do while you got the neck bolted on here is test the truss rod. It comes with it, the patch cable. You want to test the truss rod and see where it's at, because if it's not going to do anything, then you are screwed. Okay, so this is backing it off. Okay, it's loose. I have a tool that I can see but you can also sight it also, which I can't really do with a camera. So that does work. So we are good to go to get started on everything else. So we confirmed that the string and bridge tailpiece are all in line with the nut, okay? Tuners really don't matter because it's one on the side. We confirmed that the truss rod does work. There's that feeler that I'm going to show you guys how to get rid of. You can see it's engineered rosewood and it's really rough. You gotta sand this, okay? But anyway, gotta sand the body and everything. So you're good to go. If all that stuff checks out, you are good to go to start building this thing. And you just take your neck back off and whatever one you want to start on. I usually start on the body first, then the neck. The only thing I'm going to be doing to this guitar is sanding it down, grain filling it, same way as the neck, and then going to be nitro lacquering it, using nitro lacquer. Going to do it a certain color. I don't know if I'm going to go black, white. I don't know yet what I'm going to do. I know it's going to be a solid color, but you can see that grain now right there. Look how beautiful that is. Man, I just wish it was all like that. But anyway, this is the quality wood that you get for this price range of kit. And this is the back. But it's overall really, really good. It's got the tilt back headstock. Scarf joint. It's super heavy. This guitar weighs feels like 8 pounds. So yeah, you're good to go. Got all your parts. Everything lines up. Everything checks out. You're good to go ahead and build this guitar. This is the assemble guide, all models. It's got all this stuff in there. And you have your wiring diagram, which I have the pots, the capacitors, and everything that I will be using. I just got done grain filling this guitar. Going to let it dry. Grain filled the neck. Gotta let it dry. All right, now that it's dry, I sanded it down, got it smooth. I went ahead and taped the fretboard off. Went ahead and sanded the body smooth. I want a little bit of wood grain to show through on this finish because I have something in mind when I complete the finish and go to sand it. I'm going to go for a matte kind of semi-gloss finish. But yeah, if you want to keep doing grain filling, you can do that, and that way no wood grain shows through at all. So this is what it looks like. Looks pretty good. This is what I used, Timbermate. This was the last wood filler that I used on the Double Cut Junior build. You can go back and watch that video. I show you how to do it the way Gibson does it. But yeah, it turned out great. So I went ahead and put a coat of shellac on here. It darkens the wood, plus it seals it up a little bit and kind of helps seal that grain in there. Like I said, I want a little bit of grain to show through the finish because I have an idea in my mind what I want done. But yeah, it turned out great. It kind of just seals it, and it's ready to lay down some paint. This is the shellac that I use. Works really, really well, and it's cheap, and you can't beat it. It kind of has a yellow tint to it, so it would look good on plastic or binding also if you want to use it for a clear coat. But you just spray it on, and what I did was sanded it, and it kind of gave me like a glass smooth finish, and that way the first coat of paint will lay on perfectly smooth. The neck came out beautiful in the back. Still gotta do that black and put my name on it. Here's the body with a little bit of wood grain showing. It came out great. Came out really good. So here it is. I gotta do the headstock. You always do this last. Gotta let this cure, and so I can put tape around this and do this black and put my name right here. But it turned out really, really well. I like it. How's it going, everybody? I'm back at you with another video of the Bargain Musician build. Came out pretty good. You can tell that it's probably the fret wire quality. The roundness of the horns down here on the bottom here are not perfectly round. You can tell where they used a router to go around it. But like I said, I'm not looking to build a professional guitar. I'm going to be using this and abusing it and playing it, right? So what I've done so far is I got the body filled with a little bit of grain filler. I sealed it with some shellac, and I went ahead and did the body and the neck and did the headstock and put my name at the top. Now, this guitar, I put a very thin layer of finish on it. I wanted a little bit of wood grain to show through. I don't care what people say, you know, I believe it helps the tone of the guitar, because you can still hear the wood sound in this guitar, and I can feel it vibrating through the neck. So I left a little bit of wood grain show through, just because that's the way I like it. That's the way I feel that the guitar resonates, okay? So I got that finished, the neck is finished, and everything turned out really great. But I haven't put this guitar together yet. So got the headstock done, got my logo on there. The only thing left to do is, you know, order the parts, get the parts for this guitar, the humbucker, the mini humbuckers. I already got the bridge, I already got the stop tailpiece, get the tuners for it. Basically, this is a Firebird Studio, and you know, I'm not going to go all out on it, but I'm going to go out enough where it's worth playing and worth having. So another thing that I also did was actually stain the fretboard to make it a little bit darker, to make it look a little bit more believable, because you guys seen it before and it wasn't really that believable. I have a video on my channel how to make engineered rosewood actually look like real rosewood. If you go back and look, it's on there. But yeah, this guitar turned out amazing so far. Like I said, got to get upgraded parts for it, got to get upgraded pickups and all that stuff. Basically, you're going to have one whole day in just prepping this body if you're going to do it right. One whole day. I'm talking like 8 hours, okay? So you have like an 8-hour shift just prepping the body and getting it ready to be finished. You'll have about a week and a half in this guitar if you take your time, okay? So you're not gonna, if you're gonna rush through this, the outcome's not gonna be very good, because I still gotta level and crown the frets and all that jazz. So I still have a lot of work to do, but thought I'd update you guys. I'm very impressed with this guitar. So the finish has cured on this guitar, and I went ahead and got everything drilled, put the pickups in, go-to bridge, stop tailpiece. My favorite knobs, they are actually from a Fender Frontman amplifier. That's where I get these awesome knobs from. The input jack, or the output jack, whatever you want to call it. Got the pick guard drilled. I haven't got the tuners yet. I got to get a nut and tuners. I got to order those. And I'm going to be replacing these pickups, but I want to see what they sound like. I know they're going to be generic and sound like crap, but I'm just kind of curious to see what they sound like. But everything turned out great. Like you guys know, I stained the fretboard. Everything turned out great on this guitar. I had to do a lot of work to get it to this point. The finish on this guitar is very, very thin. That reason is because, one, I feel like the guitar can breathe. Two, it'll wear nicely over time. But one thing I noticed, the pickup cavities are not routed deep enough. If I want to get these pickups low to the body, it won't go, because the wiring is actually hitting the bottom of the pickup. Another thing is the hole through the body for the wiring is super small. I use vintage wiring in this guitar, the pullback wiring, and it barely fit. Okay, the pickups and all that stuff barely squeezed through there. Full size switch and everything, all that stuff barely fit. So it was a tight squeeze, especially for full size pots. I put full size pots in this thing. They barely fit. Okay, I had to organize the pots to even get them to work in this guitar with capacitors and everything and wiring. So they could work on that a little bit. Had to drill out the holes a little bit bigger, which I was expecting that because I have to do that anyway all the time on all these budget guitars. But I wasn't expecting the pots being so close together. And I also had to ream out the backside to get the pots to fit because I didn't have long shaft pots, I only had short shaft. So I had to do that also. But all in all, it turned out great. For 150 bucks, it's about worth 150 bucks. I've seen better quality guitar kits. I haven't got to play this, like I said, I haven't got to play it yet, so I can't give a farther review, but a building standpoint is there's a lot of work involved to get it to where I got this guitar, okay? So don't get this guitar and expect to throw it together and play it like some kits you get. It just don't work that way. This guitar had to grain fill sand, adjust, grain fill sand. I had to, you know, do a little drilling, do a little shaving here, a little shaving there, a little tweaking here, and you know, there's a little piece right here that was glued that had a hole in it. Had to fill that in. It was shown through the finish. So just little things like that kind of gets on my nerves. Honestly, I would price this guitar kit around 100 bucks because this horn right here down at the bottom is not perfectly round. You can see where they want to round it with a router. There was router burn marks on that. Inside the pickup or inside the neck pocket, there's router burns. So they can do it a little bit cleaner, but the fret wire has I think the fret wire has a little bit better quality than this. They're almost on the same level, but about the same, almost, I guess. But Solo Music Gear is the best when it comes to budget guitar kits, but I can't complain. I've been wanting to do a guitar kit this way, and I've been wanting to do it this kind of finish. I was going to go with black, but I decided to do it like this. And I'm so glad I did because it turned out super awesome, and I'm satisfied with it so far. When I get the strings on it, we'll see what it does and see how it sounds. So the next video you will see, it will be me actually playing this guitar and doing a review on how it plays and how it feels. It's super heavy. It feels like 7 pounds to me. The only thing I got left to do is put the strap buttons on. And how I'm going to do that is put one here and one back here. So yeah, so make sure you stay tuned with that. Got to get the tuners, like I said, in a nut, level and crown the frets, put the strings on it, and see what this guitar will actually do. So I'm Ronald Jr. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know each and every time I upload a video, and I'll see you guys next time.